if you have a bunch of cash and it's generating 5% interest, and someone told you the inflation rate was 2%, you might think that sort of you're getting ahead. But when interest rates went to 0%, I think the first shoe to drop was interest rates are zero. Oh, that's not good. The second knock was they're going to stay at zero for 4 years. Okay, there's no hope.
Welcome to Dream Richer. Where do you think all our technological advancements are headed? Could we be living in a cashless society in next 5 years, where Bitcoin rules? According to Saylor, what we are seeing is a digital transformation. As he argues, we have already seen the first wave, where our books, education, music, photos, and memories all became digital. This is evident with the rise of the internet, widespread use of cameras, Spotify, and so on. However, the next wave of this digital transformation will be digital currency. Economists have argued time and time again that our currency is bound to become digital and cashless. But will this come about through Bitcoin dominance, or use of another form of digital currency? For example, the Reserve Bank is actively researching central bank digital currency, CBDC, as a complement to existing forms of money. The Reserve Bank currently issues two forms of money. Firstly, physical money in the form of banknotes, which can be used by households and businesses to make payments. And secondly, digital money in the form of balances, held in accounts that commercial banks and some other types of financial institutions can hold at the Reserve Bank to settle payment obligations between each other. If you find the video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it.
I think the last decade was the mobile wave for me, and I was focused on digital transformations in the first era. I almost feel like there's one segment of the mobile wave, which is the digital transformation of music and books and communications and relationships and retail. And that describes the rise of YouTube and Google and Facebook and Amazon and Apple. And I think the second stage of the mobile wave is digital transformation of money. Digital transformation of property, digital money, digital assets. And ultimately, I think the most theoretically pure, metaphor here is digital energy. But mobile devices are so ubiquitous, and I think it's inevitable that 8 billion people on the planet will all have at least one mobile device, and it'll be the primary device they use to manipulate software. And what could be more powerful software than software that moves energy or property or money? The thing that's so difficult to grasp about Bitcoin as a digital transformation is it's a complete paradigm shift in your view of money, property, and energy. And if you have a bunch of cash and it's generating 5% interest, and someone told you the inflation rate was 2%, you might think that sort of you're getting ahead. But when interest rates went to 0%, I think the first shoe to drop was interest rates are zero. Oh, that's not good. The second knock was they're going to stay at zero for 4 years. Okay, there's no hope of generating interest on cash and credit. Well, that caused me to stop and say, well, how bad is it? Okay, well, how bad is it depends upon your definition of inflation. So I believe there's two inflation rates. There's an inflation rate if you want to be poor, or there's an inflation rate if you want to be rich. And the inflation rate if you want to be poor is the CPI or PCE. It's like a market basket of goods and services that don't include the highly volatile energy and food, and they don't include housing, and they don't include college education, and they don't include stocks and bonds and early retirement and things like and art.
In the words of Saylor, digitalization of everything is right around the corner. Projects are already being undertaken to see our currency and lives at large shift to this digital realm. For example, the central bank digital currency, CBDC, would be a new digital form of money issued by the Reserve Bank. It could be designed for retail or general purpose use, which would be like a digital version of banknotes that is essentially universally accessible, or for wholesale use, where it is accessible only to a more limited range of wholesale market participants for use in wholesale payment and settlement systems. A CBDC could potentially support a number of the bank's policy objectives, including safeguarding public trust in money and promoting efficiency, safety, resilience, and innovation in payment systems and financial market infrastructures. We have seen the same happen with stable coins, such as USDT and USDC, that are pegged to the dollar one-to-one. Could this be the start of a digital currency?
So that inflation rate is preached so often that I think the entire population just kind of internalized it and says, okay, I guess inflation is less than 2%. Interest is 0%. I got a negative real yield of minus 2%. I have 35 years. I lose half my money. I do agree. If you look at the future of the world and how the mobile wave plays out, after we finish uploading our photos and our relationships and our documents and our books and our videos and our whatevers to our phones, we upload our money. And you'll have 8 billion people on the planet, and you'll have 8 billion digital wallets, and they'll be sitting on Android and iOS, and maybe there'll be, a Chinese operating system. And that digital wallet will hold a mixture of currencies and assets. And or you can call them currencies and properties if you wish, but the strongest currency with the US dollar, and then the CNY, and then you'll have maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, the yen, the euro. If you have a strong government, wherever there's a strong governmental influence, they will dictate a currency, which will be the medium of exchange, because you're going to use to pay your taxes, and it'll be the stable coin, if you will. And the Chinese have shown they have the power to endorse the CNY, and the US has the power to drive USD. The weak currencies, there are 66 of them already gone. Yeah. Out of, there are 190 countries in the world, 66 are dollarized, 66. And so there's another 66 that will probably dollarize. Maybe there'll be 10 that will go CNY. So imagine you live in Argentina. You've got like the peso for when the government says you got to pay it. You've got the dollar for when you want to buy anything internationally. And then you've got the Bitcoin. And if I was smart, I would have 1 month of expenses in the strongest currency, 1 day of expenses in the weakest currency, and the rest of my life savings in the asset. And Bitcoin is the strongest asset. Now, there may be other assets. Maybe they'll tokenize the S&P index, or they'll tokenize French stock exchange companies, or they'll tokenize other forms of property. But I think what's pretty clear is for the 6 billion people in the Western world, the dollar will rise to the top as the medium of exchange, and the Bitcoin will rise to the top as the store of value.
It's clear from Michael Saylor's explanation that digitalization is bound to happen no matter what. It's no surprise that economists now believe that Bitcoin could help businesses carry out their trades in the future. As they argue, Bitcoin will help businesses in 7 major ways. These include: 1. Blockchain will be the standard for digital transactions. 2. Blockchain will become an accelerator of business processes. 3. Blockchain will be a major game changer in the supply chain. 4. Blockchain will act as the architecture for connectivity. 5. Blockchain will be a platform for smart contracts. Number 6. Blockchain will be a fuel for the finance function. And finally, number 7. Blockchain will be a success factor in competition. To learn more about the latest crypto news, watch these videos here.